Okay, but spiritually, can we just admit that the holidays are a growth portal?
Like, how can I stay spiritually centered when my family asks why I'm still single?
Exactly. I'm Corbin Chase, a professional intuitive and mom of 2 toddlers who's dedicated to living a holistic life.
And I'm Lindsay Fisher, your newly spiritual, curious, in-process mirror working in the corporate world.
Welcome to Okay, but spiritually. Lindsay, hey!
We're back.
We're back. Okay, but spiritually, how are your holidays?
Really good. Really good. Like I said, was focusing on my health, and I was really proud of how I navigated all the food and alcohol. I felt like I was in control of my decisions. When I decided I wanted to indulge, I did so, had a great time. Mm-hmm. But I was also really proud of the moments when I kind of pulled back and just observed without all the alcohol, all the food too. So we're doing it. 2026. Let's go.
Nice. I love it.
How were yours?
Mine were good. Yeah, they were pretty, like what I've been practicing in terms of holism has been working. I've been trying to focus on offboarding the stress in my body because I don't need to carry it in my body. I can carry it in like my processing, but I don't necessarily need to carry it in my body because that like affects greatly how I digest food.
It's so true.
That practice has like been working well for me over the holidays and New Year's and everything.
I feel like I'm learning a lot about how the body works as far as spiritually and emotionally, what it does for you and how it shows up physically. Because it can be pain, rashes, allergies, indigestion, all the things, broken ankles. All of this stuff is an energetic source that shows up in a physical reality.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You can always track back a physical ailment to like what the energetic wound is. So yeah, trying to get ahead of it.
And when you figure out your body, when you shift your perspective that your body is actually doing so much work for you on your behalf, and the consequences, the pain, the discomfort, whatever, you are more thankful for it, and it helps ease those symptoms and I think heal.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Another thing I was doing over the holidays is something I talked about like the way beginning of my podcast that I kind of forgot about, that I think is like we're in the new paradigm and people are becoming more spiritual and like kind of tuning into their gifts and purpose some more.
Yeah.
Is when I'm having thoughts, I try to think them in the back of my mind, because when I think them in the front of my mind, if like someone's a little bit psychic or like intuitive, they can more easily pick up on what it is that I'm thinking.
Okay.
But if they're in the back of my mind, they're kind of more tucked away. So I was more conscious.
Backroom mind.
Yeah. I was kind of more conscious about that.
I remember you told me that when we first started talking, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out where the rooms are in my mind.
Yeah.
Because I conceptually, I get it, but how it feels and how to practice that, I think, is more challenging because I just haven't been used to doing that. Yeah. And also, there's so much going on up here at all times. I have no idea who's talking. Is it me? Is it them? Is it my spirit? Is it God?
Yeah, all the components of the vehicle that you're in.
And we're going to talk today about who can creep in.
Yeah.
And where the voices in your head can come from.
Yeah, the spiritual anatomy, the spiritual landscape. There's the spiritual anatomy of your body, which is like your intuition, your logic, your ego, your personality, all of those things. And I have episodes on that. But today we're going to be talking about the spiritual landscape outside of us, like in the world and in the above and the below.
Yes.
So for this episode, I wrote a thesis.
Wow.
I did. So here we go. When life becomes overly serious, chaotic, or heavy, you're probably operating in self-power instead of God power or higher source power. Usually because you've been using spiritual tools without the source behind them. And that's where the 95% light and 5% lie comes in.
Okay.
And we'll talk about what that means.
Okay.
And the reason that we wanted this episode to be placed right after New Year's is because we want to tee you up for success for the coming year with a pretty big concept, and that I really believe could take you a full year to digest and start living and seeing.
For sure.
Yeah. So we live in duality constantly. Our
Yes.
mission here, like the reason that we come down, is to learn how to try to be peaceful in a very chaotic environment. That is like the ultimate spiritual challenge.
Yes.
And we see the duality come up in multiple ways. Some people call it Satan and God. Some people call it high frequency and low frequency.
Dark and light.
Dark and light. Either way, there is a spiritual war of dark and light happening. Whether you are conscious about it or not, it is happening.
Yeah.
And you are participating. And you can choose to consciously participate, or you can choose to be part of the herd.
Right.
Okay?
I also think about that sometimes. I think this is a Abraham Hicks teaching, but it's a coin and it's two sides of the coin. And you're, as you create on the good side, it also still equally is expanding the other side of the coin because it's always connected. And that we had talked about this in the previous episode of we live in a perfectly balanced universe. So where all there's good, there is an equal expression of dark too.
That's true. That's definitely one of the spiritual truths to keep in mind as you're positioning yourself spiritually. You're like, wait a second. I can always be rest assured that it always has to balance out.
Yeah.
Like that's a non-negotiable. Let's position ourselves as being in the light.
Yes.
Okay? That means we are with God, we are with the high frequency, we are with the universe, we are with the light. All of those terms apply and kind of mean the same thing. Yes.
Right.
The enemy, so Satan, like the darkness and the lower frequencies.
The opposite.
Yes. The enemy works through almost truths. So Satan communicates through 95% truth and 5% lie. Now, this shows up very subtly, very creatively. Okay, we have to be like very spiritually attuned
Yeah.
and connected in and in alignment to see through the facade. So like, and we know this, there's a great book called Wheels of Life where they talk about how in order to not fall prey to illusion, you need to have strong spiritual health.
Okay.
And that's exactly what like Satan and the darkness wants from us.
Right.
They want us to disconnect altogether, just period disconnect from God, source, light, ourselves, our authenticity, everything. And he works through temptations. So I want to just start off by asking if this makes sense.
It does. I think what came to mind when you were talking is confusion. When I feel like I've experienced that 95% truth and 5% lie, it's when something, looks good on paper, but like I can feel there's still something off about it. And I don't know what it is. And I can't figure it out, but it just doesn't seem right. And I think that's a sign that I'm aware of that small bit that is off. Even if I can't find it with my logical mind, I still can understand there's something in this that's not completely pure. And a lot of the times when we feel like that, it causes so much confusion.
It does. It does. It can be really hard to discern. What we can be rest assured in is that source is always going to encourage us to be in peace. So if there's ever a seed, literally all Satan has to do is plant a seed. Plant one seed of doubt.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to watch you feed it. I'm going to watch you build a garden out of it. And then we're in our own like hell garden that we've created. So I made a list of really common examples of where we see the truth and the twist, that where you can easily be deceived here. So these are a list of systems and teachings that begin with real wisdom,
Okay.
but then twist it just enough to create dependency, ego, or limitation within yourself.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that any of these things on this list are bad.
Okay.
But because they aren't always one-on-one between me and source, there's room for temptation to be in there.
Distortion and
Yes.
Yeah.
So number one is religion. So the truth is that it began as a way to remember God,
Yeah.
to anchor love and order and sacred relationship into community.
Yeah.
The scriptures and the rituals and the symbols were meant to guide people back into divine communion. Mm-hmm. Great. The twist is that over time, many of these institutions turned revelation into regulation. Like priests, for example, kind of gave in to temptation and like felt the tickle of the ego. And they were like, well, I'm going to start asking people for money and those kinds of things, turning living spirit into man-made control. So instead of being a pathway to God, it became a hierarchy to get God. Instead of empowering direct relationship, it began gatekeeping the salvation and the worthiness or the belonging. So the lie isn't that religion is false. It's that it's the only way. Like that's the boxing in. That's the trap.
Right. And I feel like that is one of the biggest, what's the word? Criticisms of religion is it's a business. You have all these corrupt people. We've seen it play out in positions of power doing kind of bad things. And then there's also drama that can get introduced into even the most wonderful of congregations because we're human.
Yeah.
Our human is susceptible to the ego, Satan, whatever you want to call it. And then that distorts what we're actually trying to do here, which is be closer to God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it can, not always. This is not a knock on religion. It's just not always, but it can like encourage the like system loyalty.
Right.
Versus
The
like hold on.
institution becomes more important than
Yeah.
the connection.
Right.
Yeah. And not to mention all the wars that are fought for religious reasons. Like that was never the intention of why religion was created.
No, we're not supposed to fight.
No.
We're not supposed to fight with nature.
No.
We're not supposed to fight with animals. We are not supposed to fight with each
really
other.
painful and difficult to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is when like the darkness is coming in and we've fallen for it. The next one is human design. Are you familiar with human design?
I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like human design.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not a knock at all. This is just seeing where the light and the dark is in it.
Yeah. I think this whole episode, this whole discussion is just a reframe of all of these concepts, tools, institutions to allow people to think more openly and really make decisions that feel aligned and feel really good for themselves because they know they're coming from source.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there have been times where I have gotten information, what has felt like clarity from human design and, you know, some other things that I'm sure you're going to bring up that really helped me in that moment.
Yeah.
But the opposite side of it too is some of it just doesn't fit and it's confusing.
Yes. It can be confusing. Like the spiritual sector is unregulated.
Yes.
So you have to be very careful. This is to help you build discernment. And this is where we need to like really remember the distinction between wisdom and knowledge. So
say more.
Okay. So knowledge is man-made, right?
Okay.
And wisdom is like divine information.
Okay.
So a couple of these things in here, like religion is both wisdom and knowledge.
Okay.
Because it's human plus
But
God.
we can get better at parsing out which one we're looking at by the way
Yes.
by the way it resonates and feels within ourselves and our spirit.
Yes. Human design is both wisdom and knowledge because I think the guy who channeled it was a channeling. So there was
Right.
a filtering.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So human design isn't fake.
Yeah.
It's only dangerous when people let it define them instead of reveal them. So human design is meant to be more of a mirror than it is to be a cage. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's supposed to give you, I think, a helpful framework to better understand yourself and your energy. But it's not supposed to be a rigid structure that if you don't live by this, then you're going to be unhappy.
You nailed it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you start finding it limiting or putting it before like source,
Yeah.
that's when Satan's like, or the darkness is like, gotcha. The next is energy work and channeling, which I know both of us practice.
I'm very curious about your take on this.
Yeah,
Because
so-
this is a new opinion that you've not shared with me. So
Yes. Okay. So the truth in this is that energy is real
yes.
and intuition and spirit are real.
Yes.
Working and manipulating and influencing and diagnosing energy is all real.
Yeah.
The twist is when it becomes sourceless. So
Okay.
when you stop asking, for example, which spirit you're channeling with or aligning with,
Okay.
that's where the darkness can sneak in wearing like white robes. Or if, for example, I'm working with a client and I don't align with the higher light, God, my guides, my higher self,
Yeah.
and I'm just using my gifts willy-nilly out there, kind of like raw dogging it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
That's when we create a window for like the demons and Satan and the negative frequencies to come in
Yeah.
and play games.
So you open yourself up for energy channel, but if you don't really take the time to focus on the one that you want, which is the direct one to the main source creator, you can leave yourself susceptible to any old thing, any old vibration that'll get in there and
Exactly.
then affect the work that you're doing.
Yes. And
Like
it's
that.
dangerous for both the practitioner and the client.
Yeah.
Because then I'm letting that dark energy in my field and then I'm giving them information that is meant to cause chaos in their life versus heal. And this
That's
is why
tricky. It's
it is
scary.
tricky. It is scary. And this is why I'm so careful about who I let work on me or read my energy.
Sure.
Or like my psychic realm, because the metaphysical plane, you have to be really careful.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next one is psychology and self-help.
Yeah.
So the truth is that healing the mind and trauma is sacred work. The twist is when it denies spirit altogether, when it becomes its own religion, like worshiping intellect over wisdom.
Right.
Kind of like being narrow-minded about, oh, we're just going to heal the mind without including the essence of your existence.
Yes. I've experienced really, really helpful bits of knowledge that I felt, were genuine wisdoms that I needed to hear in certain moments when I was kind of going through my spiritual awakening. I really, really wanted to understand what was going on in my brain, right? And there's been a lot of science. I love science. I believe in it. But I got to a point where I felt like, I get this. I understand all of this, but I'm still not satisfied.
Yeah.
Something is still missing. And I do think it was that spiritual component of it to really, I don't know if tie it all together is the right word, but it felt like it made it more full.
Yeah.
And another thing with these psychological concepts is sometimes they label you as a certain thing,
Box you in.
or I have this, I am that. I have anxious attachment. I am an avoidant attachment. Well, when do you know when you've done enough work to not be called that anymore?
Yeah. I'm a sacred free being. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And that goes back to the confusion, right? So, yes, at a certain stage, I think it is helpful to have some kind of an understanding, right? If you're calling forward answers to help you just move forward on the path, the next step can be a little bit of knowledge here. But I don't think you're ever going to get to a point where you're going to be fully fulfilled with only the textbook psychology stuff if you can't figure out the energy and the deeper connections of
Exactly.
what and why. Great, I'm anxious attached. Why? Why did this happen to me? Because this kind of sucks, right?
Yeah. I don't want to be called that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you start to understand, there is a deeper wisdom to it, there is a higher reason for all of it, higher plan, and that brings you back and connects you into this higher source.
Yeah. And don't you see what the twist is doing there? It's like, yes, there is a time and a place for psychology and self-help.
Yeah.
But what it does, if you look at it without holism,
Right.
Satan's like, oh, great. Yeah, you can heal this part of you, but we're just going to cut the spiritual part out.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's like, you can never really be whole because you're not looking at all of yourself. Gotcha. Yeah. Another part of the twist is when it stops short of soul replacing spiritual awakening with endless self-analysis.
Oh,
It keeps
goodness.
people looping instead of transcending.
I know that feeling all too well. And I think that's kind of the point that I was at when
Yeah.
I found you, because I said, I want someone different to talk to, because I don't want any more of going around and around. There's got to be more to this. There's got to be a deeper meaning, and you can get on the internet, you can get on Instagram, you can go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole about this psychological concept or that psychological concept, and spend all your time researching and trying to figure out what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, you guys still like go out and live your life. Healing has to occur in the action and in the exploration, I think.
You got to look at all of you. You can't like deny the spirit in any realm. I mean, what I've been saying to people is that I think, and I like fully believe that every single person should have a spiritual practitioner as part of their major, like their main healthcare team.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will be testament number one.
Yeah. I mean, me too. I have people I go to as well. Yeah. Okay. Next one.
Okay.
Science.
Science.
Yes. Science and rationalism. So the truth in this: observation, order, evidence, these reveal source's brilliance, God's brilliance, the brilliance in the design of our existence. The twist is when, again, it denies spirit altogether, when science becomes its own religion, worshiping intellect over wisdom. We see it again here all the time. So when science divorces the spiritual aspects, we're boxing ourselves in. It's creating another blind spot.
You know, I feel like it's very interesting that some of the things that I started learning when I started investigating energy work and, you know, what our reality is, and more like quantum physics type of concepts, it seemed to actually help fill in some of the gaps that I was questioning about religion and like, how does this work? How does that work? And then once I put all of it together, that's when all of it sort of felt like it clicked more and made sense.
Yeah.
And it was easier for me to accept and embrace some of these more religious concepts when I put them into the lens of science and spirituality.
Yeah.
All having it work together felt really good.
Isn't it so cool how we're in a place where we're able to start scientifically proving, like, our ancestors knew that we didn't need to prove this, but we need it now. But we can start proving some of these spiritual concepts and some of the things that are in the Bible. Yeah. Which is like, I just think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah. And I also feel that, you know, we all come for different reasons, different purposes. And the physical reality that we live in is meant to be explored and understood. And there are scientists, there are like data-minded people, curious people for a reason. And that is a creation. That is an intention that God, the universe, put them here to help expand our understanding of how all of this works so that we can be closer to it, so that it feels better to connect in.
Yeah. I think that's a good point, because some people, like, I can list a handful of people who are here that really rely on science and they like really can't be bothered with the spiritual concepts. And there's like nothing inherently wrong with that either. Like, everything just is. That just means that their lesson right now is truly living a spiritual-less life.
Right.
So that they then can learn, they have the contrast so that they can learn, oh, maybe in another life, I do want a spiritual life.
I want that aspect of it closer to me.
We got to just trust it all.
Yeah.
Okay. I have two more here. The next one is manifestation and law of attraction. So the truth in this is that consciousness does shape our reality, and what we focus on does expand.
Yes.
The twist is when it replaces that divine partnership with I am my own God. That's where ego, entitlement, and spiritual burnout start to creep in. Like, oh, I can just manifest whatever I want. Satan's like, gotcha.
And the amount of frustration that builds up when you study the law of attraction and you have something in mind that you want. Like, I want XYZ in my life. And it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then you start to feel confused again,
Yeah.
frustrated, angry, all of these things, all of these emotions that are not your true source. These are not the pure love that we're meant to exist in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to like challenge. Are you familiar with Gabby Bernstein?
Yes.
I really like her.
Okay.
I like drove to Boston once to see her speak about her new book. I think
Okay.
it's called Self-Help. And I like follow her Instagram. This is not a knock towards her at all, but and maybe she talks about this. I don't know, but I haven't heard her talk about it yet. But her thing is all about manifestation and how you can manifest anything you want. And like that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
But are you because like Satan and the darkness and the lower frequencies that want to disconnect you will give you all of the things. They'll give you anything to take you further away from source.
The law of attraction, I will say, learning about that was so good for me just because it gave my brain a framework to stop going in circles.
Yeah.
Right? But the catch, the twist, as you've been saying, is still being able to come back to the peace and calm that you have cultivate in yourself while you're waiting for things to happen. It's really helpful to understand how it works, but you can't get caught up in trying to use that all the time and focus all your energy on the law of attraction and not enjoy your life in the meantime.
Yeah.
Because it gets really tedious
Yeah.
when you're trying to manifest.
Yeah.
So I think it gives me a higher appreciation when I do see the law of attraction in real life, knowing how it works. I'm even more thankful and I can send up gratitude for that. So that in that regard, it's helpful. I do feel like it is kind of a sacred wisdom, but you can't let yourself get so bogged down with making sure you're doing it right all the time that you start getting into the other side of it where you feel bad, you feel guilty, you feel frustrated, you feel confused.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like what you said about when you start like understanding the concept of manifestation and law of attraction is that it does take you out of the humanness a little bit and you're like, oh, I am an infinite being.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to try this out. But if you do it and forget that we need to be subservient to our purpose and that we need to be humbled by source,
Yeah.
that's where the twist gets in.
There's a bigger plan and I'm playing a role in it. And I I have my free will, but the laws of the universe are going to do their thing no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Last one.
Okay.
Last example I have here is astrology.
Yeah.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about astrology. Astrology is so cool.
It is.
So the truth in it is that it's deeply archetypal and symbolic. It is a natural component of our landscape. It is intentional. It is on purpose. Planets do have energies and cycles in them that we can use to help us with our health and spiritual direction.
They affect our physical reality.
Yes, and our human bodies. Yep, like the moon and our menstrual cycle. But the twist is that when people start to identify like so much with their chart or like only with their chart,
Or they go to just their chart to figure out what's going on in their life.
yeah, like they
Plan their day over your horoscope. Yep.
yeah, and when they use it as fate instead of reflection, it becomes bondage rather than liberation or like guidance and support. Like when people say, "I can't help it, I'm a Scorpio."
And when
I'm like, you just boxed yourself in.
Right.
Don't do that to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's helpful when it gives you a structure and some understanding. But when you become so rigid in the way that you live your life because you are X, Y, or Z, or you're in this category, what are you doing? This isn't helpful.
Yeah. So like as you're out there in the world becoming more spiritual, a lot of this stuff is fun because it's real and it works.
Yeah.
But we need to navigate it all very consciously and remember like where our home is.
Right.
And participate in the parts of it that are light and not get fooled by the parts of it that are dark, because it will take you right out of alignment. A couple places. Are you familiar with like the let it go culture that's going on with contemporary spirituality?
Yes.
I think it's like a trap.
Yeah.
Because when you let something, the concept of like letting something go, and like Mel Robbins talks about let it go.
Right.
We hear let it go all over Frozen, and my children are singing it, and I really don't love that. With Mel Robbins, she talks about let them, which I interpret as like it's a form of letting it go. When you're just mentally forcing yourself to push it aside or let it go, you don't actually let it go. You just absorb it. It's like being buckled into a roller coaster with no seatbelt, and you're still on the mercy of the ride.
Which doesn't sound pleasant.
I know, right? But when you let it go with the support of like the highest power at B, you become like, you rise above it and you're free from it. So we can't just like have something come into our life and sweep it away with like a let it go song, like in Frozen. We need to like figure out how to rise above it. And I think that's another like trap that we see in one of like the spirituality sayings, where Satan's like, I'm going to keep you on a roller coaster. You're not going to rise above this.
Yeah. I think if you're letting it go, you're letting it go out of your energy and control.
Yes.
And giving it to God, because that is always going to be part of his bigger plan. The universe has infinite intelligence. And it's at work at all times.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you let it go with like the universe and creator, you get daily assistance with the things that would normally defeat you.
Yeah.
And like all of the grief and anger and the loneliness that you experience, they end up becoming transformational instead of like something that represses you.
Yeah.
And you understand yourself from the inside out versus the outside in.
Yeah. I think that saying, I remember first hearing it and I was like, oh, I get it. And then the longer I thought about it, the more confused I got, because I thought, well, okay, I just let this go, but it still is bothering me. I feel like I still want to process it. Like, how am I supposed to let this go, but then it keeps coming back? It doesn't feel like I'm actually properly dealing with it. And this isn't helpful anymore.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it feels like. And I think what people do in that situation is they reach for the spiritual tools. Like, for example, dowsing rods and tarot.
Yeah.
Which I recently learned, and this has taken me a while to sit with this and like come to terms with it, that the negative frequencies actually rule tarot and dowsing rods. And this is because like what helped this make sense for me was someone told me, my mentor told me, she was like, okay, if you have a relationship with source, with God, with the universe, that's all you need. God doesn't need tools. So who created tools to take you this way?
Not God.
Not God. So that's where like the negative frequencies play, is like, they'll be like, okay, I'll give you some truths, but there's going to be a splash of something that's going to take you sideways.
Yeah. I think we've all seen on social media the tarot lady on TikTok where she's like, pick a card and I'll show you the initial of your lover if you just share this on da-da-da. And it's like, what am I doing? I don't want to hear this.
I know.
But then you start, if you allow it in and then you get a reading that kind of resonates, then you're like, well, wait a minute, maybe. And that anxiety that you had in that moment, which was the reason, the questioning that you're trying to ease, why you got the reading in the first place, is soothed a little bit.
Yeah.
So then your brain is like, okay, I want to soothe myself again.
You've been tempted.
Let me go back. And so you find yourself relying on a source to soothe this anxiety that isn't always pure.
That's right.
And then, God forbid, the tarot reading is wrong. And then what do you do?
That's the thing. Like, God is never going to be wrong.
Right.
You know? And tarot might be right until it takes you sideways. Like, you might get a reading that, like, 95% of it is true, but then 5% falls sour. As where if you were to go directly to, like, prayer or gratitude or the universe, it's not going to be wrong.
Yeah. You have a direct channel. You have the ability to access God and his wisdom, his love, his power yourself.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's a difficult one, though, I will say, because I think this is an evolution for you, this take on tarot, because you've used tarot as a tool in your past. You've given me readings that I thought were helpful. So it's tricky. It's tricky to evolve and have to figure out how you're reconciling old versions of you and how to speak about these tools in ways that acknowledge, like, there is still some good there. We're not trying to condemn or vilify any of it, but it's such an important thing to keep in mind of what is actually going on here.
Yeah. Why would I go to Target and buy milk from like 10 states away when I can literally go down the road and get milk from the cow that lives really close by?
Yeah.
So this brings us to, like, how do you beat it and what to watch out for?
Yes.
How do you build up your resilience and your knowledge and your wisdom?
Yes.
So number one is to remember that the goal, again, is to separate you from source, always. So if you ever feel like you're being tempted and you ever feel like you're going anywhere but from you to source, just be aware.
Yeah. Because we are constantly creating the energy that we put out into the world, because we're always we're always putting energy out there.
Yeah.
Is either going to be creating on this side of the coin or this side of the coin. And we have campaign people, things, places that campaign for us to create over here or over here. So it feels always so much better to create on the positive God side of the coin than it does for the opposite side. But yeah, you have to get really good at discerning what am I feeling and where is it coming from? Whose team am I creating for right now?
Yeah. Yeah. Go play on the spiritual playground. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, you have to figure
just
it
be
out.
educated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be educated because there's not
Eyes
a lot of
wide
people
open.
teaching it. So your alerts are systems or teachings that begin with real wisdom, but then twist it just enough to create dependency, ego, or limitation.
Yes.
Again, the systems may not be evil themselves. Just use them with boundaries. The way not to fall prey to illusion is to develop a stronger spiritual foundation. Every test is designed to reveal endurance and faith. God always has the victory. Light always will win. Period.
Yeah.
So we already know the outcome.
Yeah.
This is like a no-brainer.
Light prevails over dark.
Choose the side that we know is going to win.
It feels so much better.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
It's great. And don't be hard on yourself when you do fully recognize you've dipped back into negative town. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I'm on a bus straight to negative town today. Okay, well, it's okay. I'm learning. I'm growing, and I'm going to be strengthening my resolve and put it in action tomorrow.
I love that. I need that on my wall. Yeah. So I'm saying, like, to you and our listeners that your job is to, especially right now in like the political climate and what's going on in the world, is to learn how to see the worst with grace and perspective.
Yes.
With our head held high.
Yes.
And have such a strong connection to source that we always know how to return home and back to good.
Yes. We're not here to obliterate the chaos. We're here to...
That's not our job.
No, we're here to be so aware of the chaos that we recognize when we're in it, when others are in it, when it's around. And we know then how to navigate it with grace so that it doesn't become like deeply embedded in us. And we do our part to build and create on the positive and the light side and keep the coin flipped towards the light.
Yeah. And trust that as you do that, that light will radiate all around you and it will affect everyone around you as well.
Absolutely.
Another thing to watch out for is any teaching that tells you to rely only on your personal power, like carry everything alone. I think that's like a lot of language that comes out in like motherhood.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
that's something to watch out for too. That trend, remember, could be created by the dark side. When you hear about this concept, truth, do you feel fear? Are you like, oh yeah, like I've known about this? Or are you like, this is helpful? Like, what are your...
I think it does help to explain why some of the confusion creeps in to some of these modalities that where I know there is goodness, there is wisdom in them, but recognizing that the twist there exists, and it's my job to always evaluate these things and what they're doing to me, how I'm using them, so that I know it's on the positive side of things. And so I know I need to disconnect from this right now. This confusion is a clear sign that something's going on here that isn't serving me, and I need to stop. I need to put it down. I need to walk away. I need to reset, and I need to find a different way to deal with my inner turmoil. Yeah, because when you start relying on those tools, you're going to get let down. You're not going to get like a pure answer that's going to give you the actual peace that you're seeking.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. There's I think a lot of challenge still. I mean, I have questions about, the people that channeled these things and created these things and do good work, right? How do we reconcile all of that? I like energy work. I like doing Reiki, and just making sure that I'm pure and connected into the good side of the coin, I think is a really helpful way to look at it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot to noodle on with this episode. A lot of good takeaways.
So we've talked about a lot.
Yes.
And questions are normal. I have like a long list of questions that I keep in my notes. Send them to us if you have them. If we get enough, we maybe could do another episode about it.
Answer some questions. I like it.
Yeah. Allow this to be part of your personal growth for the next year. It's not something quite as specific, but more of like as you navigate the entire spiritual landscape of both who you are and the outside world, and learning how to be a person of perseverance and joy and happiness.
Right.
This is a key factor of not to fall prey to temptation, to have a great year ahead as you like energetically reset.
Couldn't have said it better. Beautiful.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening.
If you want to talk to us, follow along on Instagram. Corbin, you are?
Instagram at Whole with Corbin.
And I am simple_spirituality_ on Instagram.